Here in Northeast Ohio, protesters peacefully gathered in Canton calling for justice for George Floyd. Meanwhile, more than 1,000 people have signed up to protest his death in downtown Cleveland tomorrow afternoon. Manny Abraham shares how city leaders are preparing to keep the crowd safe and things in order.
After people flooded the streets of downtown Columbus Thursday night and more demonstrations planned this week, Ohio's governor making a call for peaceful protests.
Protests expressing outrage are not only understandable, they are appropriate.
Demonstrations are planned across the country this weekend, including right here in Cleveland, where Black Lives Matter is planning a protest in front of the Free Stamp on Saturday afternoon. More than 1,500 people have already accepted the invitation to join.
Our mission is peaceful, and we want to bring awareness to the senseless murders throughout the United States of innocent Black lives.
Cleveland has been through protests before. Police Chief Calvin Williams says they're prepared to keep people safe and give them room to peacefully protest, but he says violence will not be tolerated. He also took a moment to reflect on what he called a difficult week that has brought a flood of emotions.
That was an actual sworn law enforcement officer that committed that act, and it's a stain on the good things that a lot of good police officers do day in and day out in protecting their communities across this country.
He says he personally understands the outrage.
I stand on both sides of this issue as a man of color and as a police officer who cares about the city and the people in it. So we just want to make sure that folks understand that we feel you. We definitely want to make sure that everybody is safe and exercising their constitutional rights, whether it's tomorrow or next week or the week after.
The city of Cleveland also noting that these protests are happening during a pandemic, so they're advising people to wear their masks and also try their best to keep a safe distance from one another. I'm Manny Abraham, 3 News.